Welcome to historic Old Town Spring. We're here at Lynns Cafe. It's been here almost 20 years. Today, we're meeting with the owner and head chef to talk about some exciting changes they have. But first, they're going to show our spring fire department how to make something they've probably never made before in the firehouse. It's going to be really good. You'll love it in your home as well. I can't wait to show it to you. Come along with us as we meet owner and head chef Matthew Lynn. Chef Matthew, thank you for having me. Good to see you. I love this restaurant. It's one of my family's favorites. We always have a good time here. My favorite memories are usually around the ice cream at the front and the dessert parlor. But talk to me, you guys have exciting changes coming.
Yeah, we're getting ready to change the name to Lynns Table. We've had it for 5 years, and we've been wanting to change the name for quite some time now. Lynns Table is something that expands on the idea of the restaurant, and we're just welcoming and wanting to bring people in and develop new relationships and spread great food.
And you're the head chef and the owner. Talk to me about the building here. It's kind of an interesting story.
Well, I'm the co-chef and co-owner. My wife is also the chef and co-owner. But the building's been here since it was brought over from the Heights. The building is actually built in 1931, and it's had add-ons done to it. We bought it from the old owners just recently. We bought the restaurant 5 years ago, but now I own the building, the property, and everything now. So that's why we're changing the name. When we bought it, I made a call to the fire department to get it re-inspected, and they said, give me the address. I told them the address, and they said that we were a gift shop. They didn't even know that we were a restaurant, and had been a restaurant for over 11 years when I bought it. And so we've got, I think, for 16 years now. And it's been a great time. We've improved the sales, we've increased the amount of people and traffic and the quality of food and the quality of service, and we're just really having a great time doing it.
What kind of other changes are you going to be making?
We just painted. We're going to do some changes to the dining room. I'm redoing the floors. We're changing the menus, the name. Again, the name's going to be Lynns Table. There's a lot of nuts and bolts when you change the name of a restaurant.
All right, well, we're here, we're ready, things are prepped, and we've brought in a couple of the crew from the Spring Fire Department, and they're going to cook with you. Tell me real quick what we're going to be working on, and then we're going to bring them in.
Today we're going to be working on Quiche Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine is a very easy dish to make. It's just a custard recipe. It is actually the first quiche, originated in Germany. It's the simple ingredients of ham, eggs, cream, milk, a couple of different kinds of cheeses, Swiss and cheddar. Pie crust that we've pre-baked, and we just slow cook it. So it's actually really great for the fire department, because if they have to go on a call, it won't burn while they're out. They can come back, it'll still be all right.
Well, all of this looks great. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to apparatus operator Michael Albanese, and he's going to be helping in the kitchen. We'll see you in a few. Welcome to Lynns Table, formerly Lynns Cafe, right here in the heart of Old Town Spring. At Lynns Table, you'll find breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including a full ice cream parlor and homemade fudge. So make plans to come try some fresh food, thoughtfully prepared, right here in the heart of Old Town Spring.
Grill Your Ass Off has one simple mission: continued camaraderie. Whether it be the labels that bring you a smile, or names that bring a personal connection to your times in service. At the end of the day, we want you to be there with your family and good food. Because we all know, no matter what the race, politics, or thoughts, good food brings all Americans together.
Welcome back, Chef Matthew. I'd like to introduce you to your assistant chef today. Would that be the sous chef?
Yes, it would.
Oh, this is apparatus operator Michael Albanese. Have you ever made quiche before?
I have not. Is that what we're making today?
Yes, sir. Quiche Lorraine.
Okay, show me how it's done.
All right. Well, first we got to start off with the quiche shell. Now, this is just a store-bought pie shell.
Okay.
Okay. It's what I do though is I take it, and you're going to pinch the edges a little bit. This is kind of delicate work. You're not squeezing the life out of it. You're just basically raising the lip a little bit higher, so we can fill it a little bit fuller. Because presentation's everything.
Okay,
see
so
how
can I match this one a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And basically that raises the level of it a little bit, gives it a nice crispy crust on the end, make sure that it's cooked thoroughly. What we're going to do is we're going to par bake the crust because this is a custard based recipe. Custards basically just mean you've mixed eggs and dairy ingredients together. It can be a combination of any of them as long as it's dairy and eggs, and that's going to basically make a custard. Ice creams, quiches, things like that are made of custard, creme brulees. There's many different ways to cook an egg. That's what the pleats of the hat on the chef's hat represent.
Chef, look at this technique.
He's got it down actually pretty good. He's not putting finger dents like the first time I did pastry. You could get my prints out of it. Yeah, it's awesome. So see here, we're also developing little cracks in the crust with the store-bought crust because they're not treated very nicely at the store. What you want to do here is we're also just going to kind of fill in the little crust here, the little cracks, just to make sure that the quiche crust does not get between the shell and the crust. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to baste it with an egg wash. An egg wash is just simply eggs and cream together here. I'm going to crack an egg here. Okay, what I want to try to do is get all the yolk out of here. The protein burns, so we want to try to get as much of that out of there as possible. If you get a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. So there we go. We've got our egg there, got our brush there. Now we've got a little bit of cream, just about equal amount of cream to the egg yolk.
Okay, that's where I get nervous, is when you guys eyeball it, and I'm the one that can't quite figure that out at home.
Well, the difference between cuisine and pastry is there's a lot of variables when it comes to cuisine. Apples are not as sweet. Tomatoes have more acid. There's just a lot of variables, so you have to use your taste. That being said, recipes are a great jumping off point. Give you a good guideline for how to follow that. Now what you're going to do, sir, is I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to let you do the other, and then we're going to bake these guys off because they're going to sit in the oven for about 15-20 minutes at low heat, 300 degrees, and all we're doing is we're just basting that edge, and this is going to also make a permeable, non-permeable layer so that the crust is protected.
You couldn't just do it all at once?
What do you mean?
Like pour all of the filling in there and bake the crust with the filling at the same time?
No, you need to coagulate the protein. Go ahead, sir. You can go ahead and brush that up.
It's like a science lesson.
Yeah, well, it coagulates the protein and makes it's just like a seal. It won't rehydrate once you pour the liquid back in there because we're going to mix the cream, the milk, the eggs, handfuls of cheese and ham, mix all that together with a little salt and pepper, and then pour that in there. And by setting that egg yolk with heat, you know, because that's what I was talking about. There's different. Don't try to remember recipes. There's techniques, principles of cooking, and procedures. If you follow those, cooking becomes a lot easier.
So what do you think? Is this going to be a big win at the station?
We'll see at the end of this how it works out.
What do you like to cook? Do you cook often?
I cook a little bit, mostly just chicken steaks and meats. I can barbecue.
Okay.
But when it comes to the kitchen, kind of out of my element, but I'm willing to learn.
That's it right now. We're just going to put this on a sheet pan and throw these in the oven. All right, that's going to take about 5-10 minutes to cook, the most 300 degrees. When the crust is set, then we can pour the mixture in.
Chet, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Thanks for your insight and your knowledge, and hope you can put it to use.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, of course.
All right, for the next step, we are going to bring in another spring firefighter right after this.
The bonds of fellowship are one of the fundamental cornerstones of human society. Every culture that is or has ever been has based the value of their existence on wars they waged, the art they created, and the dishes they served. So is the story of the American experience, a culturally chaotic land of misfits whose most unifying moments often come at the dinner table. And of all the old world methods of creating meals, only one encompasses American unity. It's the time spent on a grill and the food pulled from it.
Welcome back. We're ready to continue our quiche this morning. We've got spring firefighter Louis Rougeau here. And of course, Chef, tell us what we've got in front of us and what we're going to do next.
Well, Lewis has got the hard part. He's got to mix everything together and put it in the pan. This recipe usually makes about 2 quiches. Basically, we need a nice big bowl so we get everything together. I like to mix the dry ingredients first and then put the wet ingredients on top. It just makes it easier to mix. We're using about 1 quart of shredded cheddar cheese, 1 quart of Swiss cheese, and then cheddar cheese. All right, 6 eggs. $1 million tool, the spatula, saves millions of dollars a year. Chopped up ham. Try to get ham that doesn't have nitrates in it. If you eat a lot of nitrates, it'll cure your insides. Right, now the cup of cream, cup of milk, and then I'm going to hand over the hard work to you, sir. Start mixing. And very important, whenever you're cooking, everything, salt, pepper on everything, except for maybe dessert. And even then you're going to lose a little bit of salt. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper in there.
Hey Chef, what about your variety for your filling? What are some other ideas?
It's really endless. If you wanted to make goat's cheese and chive, lobster and red peppers, if you wanted to go with vegetarian, say broccoli and mushroom, that's one that I carry. I also carry a Southwestern. I do a chicken artichoke and spinach. Really, your imagination's really your only limitation.
You got a good mix there. Got a good mixing arm, Lewis. And I know you were also featured in the spring Firefighter calendar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What month is your month?
November.
Right, so if you haven't gotten your calendar, it is not too late. You could definitely still have more time to get that and see Lewis.
Looks good right there. I think we can start mixing it into the filling. Could you hand me the pie shell, ma'am?
Sir? Yes, Chef.
Right there.
Okay.
All right, you're a quick study. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start putting some of that in there.
Now, are you one of the go-to chefs in the kitchen at the station?
I wouldn't say all that, but I do cook every once in a while.
All right, so quiche is in the oven. How long is it going to be in there baking?
It'll bake for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay, and you said you usually cut it into what, 5 slices?
I get 5 slices out of it.
Okay, perfect.
But that doesn't mean that if you only have 4 guys there, you couldn't just cut it into 4 pieces.
All right, now we're going to head outside for a little boat training. Come along for the ride. Hey, Deputy Chief Crenshaw.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me out. You are the Deputy Chief of Training.
I'm in charge of all the aspects of the different areas of training that we do, whether it be fire suppression or rescue, or today, boat operations. So we're going to be doing some refresher training.
Okay.
We do training every year. It's been a little while since we've had the boats in the water for an emergency. I believe Imelda was the last rescues that we did. And today we're out here to refresh our skills. We'll be working on doing maneuvering the boats, pressurizing the boats up against objects to maintain the position, and picking people up out of the water, doing throw ropes, all different kinds of aspects, as well as launching and recovering the boats.
First thing that comes to mind when you talk about rescue operations with the boat, I think of Hurricane Harvey and so many of those rescue operations. Talk to me a little bit about what that was like and maybe how your training changed after that experience.
Harvey definitely showed us that we had an area that we needed to improve upon. We only had 2 boats at the time. We had 1 rubber boat and 1 flat bottom boat, and we used those to do hundreds of rescues up in the spring area. And we have since added 6 more boats to our fleet. And we have a set of double stack boats and 3 of these rubber boats now. So the rescue boats like this obviously can be used in more shallow water. They're more maneuverable, and the flat bottom boats that we use those for evacuation. So whenever we're just mainly evacuating people out of slow water, these can be used in the swift water areas.
So talk to me a little bit about your life in particular. I know that you are a proud dad of how many kids?
I have 9 children. I've been married for 22 years. I've been with the department now for 26 since I started when I was in high school here. So I've been able to move up through the ranks from firefighter up to my current position now.
What really motivates you and drives you every day to continue to serve the community like this?
When I started out in high school, it was exciting, and it's still exciting, but now it's more the ability to help people, and in my position to have somebody come in and learn something new and to be able to put that into practice and be safe.
Deputy Chief Crenshaw, thank you for walking me through this incredible training, and thank you for all you guys are doing for our community in spring and continuing to make sure everybody's well prepared in any event.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna head back to Old Town Spring now and check in on our quiche. I cannot wait to try it. Y'all come on. You are 1 minute away from seeing the finished product.
The bonds of fellowship are one of the fundamental cornerstones of human society. Every culture that is or has ever been has based the value of their existence on wars they waged, the art they created, and the dishes they served. So is the story of the American experience, a culturally chaotic land of misfits whose most unifying moments often come at the dinner table. And of all the old world methods of creating meals, only one encompasses American unity. It's the time spent on a grill and the food pulled from it.
Welcome to Lynns Table, formerly Ellen's Cafe, right here in the heart of Old Town Spring. At Lynns Table, you'll find breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including a full ice cream parlor and homemade fudge. So make plans to come try some fresh food, thoughtfully prepared, right here in the heart of Old Town Spring. Welcome back. We've got firefighter Amanda Erickson, chef, with a beautiful looking quiche.
Good.
Man, it looks like perfection.
Nice to meet you. So now the hard part is over. We get to the fun part. If you would mind handing me that little divider right there. We use this right here just to make sure we get consistency on our portion control. And so we just put it there. A lot of people think that because it has those teeth on there, it's used to cut the quiche. It's not.
So do you let it cool for a while?
It makes it easier to cut if you let it cool for a little bit, but you don't have to let it cool. I mean, if you want it to go, it's just it's not going to look as pretty if you don't let it cool when you cut it. But yeah, right out of the oven, let it sit for maybe 5-10 minutes, and you can go to town with it.
You can tell I have impatient people in my house, right? Nobody ever wants to wait for something to cool.
So it's just real easy. You want to push the knife in there a little bit further all the way to the center, because obviously I'm not getting all the way to the center, and then drag the knife with a little sawing method. You're going to give it a shot. Oh, when you pinch the knife, pinch the back of the blade like this, wrap your hand around it, it lines it up with that line right there. You have control of the blade this way like this. If it rotates on your hand, it's going to dig a chunk out of your knuckle. That's why I hold it like that.
Oh my. I love the tips. I feel like we could stay here all day and just absorb all of the tips from you. All kinds of amazing things to learn. Amanda, is this something that's regular on your...
I've actually never tried quiche. I never made it. It sounds delicious though.
I mean, how could you go wrong, right?
Right?
And you could, I love that you could change up the filling to, suit whatever you like. So tell me a little bit about your career with the Spring Fire Department. You're the first female full-time firefighter in Spring, yeah.
I've been with Spring for 5 years. Before that, I worked in Montgomery County for a little while, for about a year. And I absolutely love what I do.
What made you want to become a firefighter?
Honestly, at first I was kind of geared towards the medical side of it, and met some guys that were volunteering at another department, and once I kind of got started, that was it. I fell in love, so here I am.
That's awesome. We're big fans of what you do for us, and thank you. Wow, Chef, this looks awesome.
Like I said, it's endless what you can put in there.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I even did one with without a pie crust for those who don't want to have wheat intolerances, or you're doing a keto diet or anything like that. You just cook it in a non-stick pan without the pie crust, and you'll achieve the same thing.
Amazing. Wow. Now, you've got a daughter, right?
Yes.
Would you think she'd be interested in this?
Oh, I'm sure she would love it.
I'm really thinking this is very kid-friendly, too. Ready?
All right, y'all, ladies first, please.
All right, let's go. Go for it. Oh, I'm all in here.
How we do, ladies?
Oh, that is delicious.
Very good.
My goodness. All right, this was awesome. Thank you for showing us all the steps involved. We're going to head out to the dining room and sit down and enjoy this. Thank you. It's perfect. Hey, come on, man. Get a fork. Let's go. This is so good. Well, this was delicious. What do you say? A+? Yeah? All right. It's going to be coming to a fire station near you soon. And thank you for having us, both of you. The restaurant, best of luck with the change. It's going to be really excited. I can't wait to come back in and see everything and how it's all different. And hey, when you come to Lynns Table, be sure to order the quiche. You won't be disappointed. For another episode of Hot Eats, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. On the next episode of Hot Eats. Oh, I wish you could smell this beautiful pizza, but coming up on our next episode of Hot Eats, you won't have to just smell it. We're gonna teach you how to make it yourself. This guy, we got the expert from Brothers Pizza in the house. We'll see you next time.
And that gives the roof its structure. Then there's plywood decking that goes on those rafters. Use a breaker tool to be able to knock that panel